Good evening and welcome to the Claw Studio here at the Royal Opera House. My name's Kristen McNally. I'm a principal character artist with the Royal Ballet Company, and I'm delighted to be taking you through the Insight this evening, where we get to celebrate the legacy of the Royal Ballet's founder choreographer, Sir Frederick Ashton. Now, Ashton was a pioneer of 20th century ballet, and his choreography developed the distinctive classical Royal Ballet style. He helped establish the company as a world-class ballet institution, and his legacy continues to inspire dancers and audiences alike. Now, this June, the Royal Ballet and the Sarasota Ballet will highlight the remarkable range of his work in Ashton Celebrated. Presented across the main stage and the Limbury Theatre, it also marks the start of the Frederick Ashton Foundation's Ashton Worldwide 2024 to 28. And that's an international festival celebrating the work and the legacy of Sir Frederick Ashton. Now, to introduce Ashton Celebrated and to tell us a little bit more, let me introduce Royal Ballet's director, Kevin O'Hare, and the director of Sarasota Ballet, Ian Webb. Thank you so much for joining us. And Ian, it's so amazing to have you and Sarasota Ballet here. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to see from the Royal Ballet on the main stage?
Yes, certainly. We're very excited about the whole programme and about the whole Ashton Celebrated. Our first programme has Les Rendez-vous, a ballet that was created very early on in Sir Fred's career. And I'm really pleased to be bringing it back to the stage. It's quite a long time since it's been performed here at the Royal Opera House. And more to be said about it, but with new designs as well by Jasper Conran.
I know, I was in the changing room earlier and I saw one of the dresses hanging up and they're beautiful. Yeah, so, amazing.
I think it's going to look gorgeous, which I'm thrilled about. And then The Dream, which is obviously Ashton's one of his masterpieces, I think. I mean, watching it, I've been in the rehearsal the last 2 days, you know, in the studio, and it just is pitch perfect. I mean, the way he's distilled the story and brought the whole of that Shakespearean comedy to life is incredible. And he has the romance in there, and with the music of Mendelssohn, it really is fantastic. And great roles for people. And just seeing the company love it and just enjoy it so much, you know, being the different characters within it. And then we finish off with Rhapsody, which was, of course, Sir Fred's last ballet, and was created for the 80th birthday of the Queen Mother, and famously with Baryshnikov in the main role, a male lead role, and Leslie Collier as the ballerina. And what's been fantastic about these sort of festivals and bringing people in, I've had Anthony Dowell here, I've had Leslie Collier here, of course Christopher Carr comes in here, we've got some new people which you will probably hear about later on, like Vanessa Palmer coming, and Wayne Eagling is here for Hamlet and Ophelia, which is in the second programme. So the second programme has The Dream and Rhapsody in it, and in the middle we have, it was there. the 5 Isadora dances, which he created for Lynn Seymour. And we finish off with Hamlet and Ophelia, which is something that we worked on with the foundation. And that was created for Margot Fontaine. And Rudolf Nureyev danced it for the first time, but Wayne was very much part of it and then danced it much more. And then it's been a bit lost, so we sort of recreated it a year and a half ago. And so that's on the stage. And then, very excitingly, we've got Sarasota Ballet joining us upstairs as well with Walk to Paradise Garden.
Okay, so that's on the main stage as well. That's one of the pieces. Yeah. Okay, amazing. But as you say, it's just wonderful that that one programme can bring in all these people, which is just incredible for the company to experience.
Yeah, and just seeing Anthony and Leslie today, you know, what they bring to the room is so incredible. I mean, I was lucky enough to be coached by him, and you were as well, Ian, and you see him still today with the dancers, and just everybody's hanging off every word. And actually what was really nice, he really said he was really pleased with today's rehearsal. So
that's always good.
That's always good.
That's what we want. Now, Ian, I'm fascinated that this company in America performs all this Ashton rep. Can you tell me about, was it your journey? Like you took it there? Or?
Yeah, it basically was, I took over the company in 2007.
Okay.
And really, it wasn't my intention at all to bring in Sir Fred's works to the amount that we've done. But I felt very much that the opening programme should be, because I'm British, it should be Sir Fred, and because it's an American company, it should be Mr. Balanchine. So the programme was the two greatest choreographers of the 20th century. So that started my first programme there. And in the first year, we also, again, it's that thing of having people come in. It's so important that these legends come in and pass on the information. So we were very close. Margaret was very close with Alexander Grant. So he came in to my first season to do Facade with us there. And then it kind of like snowballed really into sort of like Sir Fred sort of was such a genius, but it's very difficult because in a way, with us, it was like the schooling. That was our backbone. But I went to a company that there was nothing. It was so mixed. There was no real level. And I thought, well, we need something to start. And what better than really have Sir Fred as our backbone, so I could then, move on. And then you do Ashton ballets. You can do everything from then on.
Well, we're going to talk a bit more about that later. We've got a panel discussion because I'd be interested to hear all about that. But can you tell us what you've brought here and what we'll see from you on the Limbury stage?
Well, I mean, what an amazing gift Kevin's given to the company and for Margaret, who started her career here. But so I've done it again where I've not made it easy. So we're doing sort of in a week's performances, we're doing like, in theory, 3 different programs. Okay. So it's a real mixture. So obviously Valses Nobles Sentimental is, which we'll probably, you're going to see a little bit of it, but that's in every program. And then we go into Dante Sonata, which is fantastic. It's unbelievable ballet. And then you saw a little bit. There's a photograph of that. We did basically a ballet called Sinfonietta, which was done. Sir Fred choreographed it in Stratford on the touring company. The Royal Ballet School did it, and I saw that. And then Lynn Wallace staged it for Sadler's Wells Royal Ballet, and I went, oh, I used to love doing that. So we got Lynn back to stage it a few years ago.
But that's brilliant when you've been around work and you can keep that and go, oh, I'd love to.
And then there's Diverts, which is, a little bit of illuminations, there's a little bit of jazz calendar, so a real mixture of things.
Well, we can't wait. It's a real pleasure and a joy to have you here. But thank you for now. You're both going to join us later on for the panel discussion. But for now, thank you both, and we'll see you later. Thank you. So now for our first rehearsal, and it's going to be the pas de trois from Les Rendez-vous. Let me welcome Sophie Allnat, Liam Boswell and Harrison Lee, and they're joined by Vanessa Palmer. I think I have to move along. I think, yes. We're here on it. We've got our little motto. I should move along one more. There we go. Vanessa, it is just so nice to have you in the building. I was lucky enough to have part of my career here in the company overlap with Vanessa. So we danced together. And I mean, it wasn't just you as an amazing artist that we looked up to, but your professionalism, your attention to detail, your care, your support, it was so amazing. So I couldn't think of anyone better to take on something like this and passing on such precious work. It's so wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey kind of from the company and into this role now?
Well, I was invited onto the shadowing scheme of the Frederick Ashton Foundation. And I've been mentored by Lynn Wallace, which is incredible. And it's really about learning about every aspect of putting a production on. So, as a dancer, you sort of you're in the studio and you're learning and you're absorbing, but this goes into sort of the costumes, the lighting, the communication with the ballet mistress or the director, casting, although I didn't have too much to do with that, but it's just so many other parts and that make up a production. So it's sort of learning that. I had to do a notation course, which sort of helps me look at a ballet and sort of look at the details, so as much as you're looking at a video footage and you're looking at, you're researching sort of through books and photographs and things, it's also important that I can actually read a score and just sort of so that I can sort of check something quickly, you know, if I have to. And that was quite a process. But yeah, and it's just then shadowing other sort of repetiteurs that are far more experienced than me, and just seeing how a rehearsal takes place and how you put across the information when you're up against injuries, time, rehearsals being cut, you know, all those sort of things that come along, and how you navigate curveballs, really.
And what do you find some of the challenges are when you are putting a ballet on, when we don't have the choreographer here with us? Because sometimes we're in rehearsals, and when we have the choreographer, they might just change something on a whim, or they like that better, or that day, or someone does something and I love that, and I'm sure there are different, slightly different versions. How do you?
Oh yeah, I mean, sort of talking about Rendezvous. So we had, I think there were 3 notation scores. We've had about 4 videos. There was there's some footage from 1956, which is where we've taken a lot of the essence of that for this production. It's looking at books, it's talking to people that have been rehearsed by Fred in these roles, which you're sort of lucky enough to still be around and you can ask. That's like ballet gold. And it was just sort of looking, I mean, there's a couple of things. So for example, actually, during the adage in Les Rendezvous, the little pas de quatre sort of weave in and out of the corps de ballet. And I found a photograph where as they're weaving, they were on point. And I zoomed in, I was thinking, ooh, that doesn't happen. That hasn't happened before. And actually then when you look back, and they're in this footage, this grainy footage, I could see that they were on point. So we've sort of put that back in, tried to make it as authentic as possible. But the challenge is to find a sort of version that is very, very true, and with the intent, the original, well, as much original intent as possible. So that's been the challenge, and there's so many little things that I can actually talk about once we're doing the pas de trois that we've discovered.
Great, well, I can't wait to see you all in action. But Sophie, what's your relationship with this ballet? Is this your first kind of meeting of Les Rendezvous, or have you been around it before?
I actually did it at my year 11 graduation, so when I was like 15, 16, so about 16 years ago. But yeah, somehow I still had remembered like the steps and the musicality
it was still
of it.
kind of,
yeah, I think because at school you get lots of rehearsals, you get a big practice period, and some of the things really did stick with me, but it was really nice to revisit it as an adult. It's been really, really nice to revisit it, and it's a really challenging, very fast, quick footwork, like lots of body movement, and the stamina, I think, is the really hard thing of this, is it's like lots of jumps, continuous, for quite a few minutes, but it's really enjoyable.
Wow. And will this be debuts for the two of you with Les Rendezvous? Okay, so what have been some of the challenges or the highlights of kind of learning this work?
Sure, I think just going off of what Sophie's just mentioned, it quite literally is like a marathon, and we're doing laps around the stage of these really kind of quick footwork, so it's just staying together as the 3 of us, but also finding the time to make it your own as well. And like Vanessa was saying earlier, we've referenced a bunch of old archival photos and videos, but we've been able to kind of breathe a new life into it as well, which I think has been really fun.
And what does it mean to you when you kind of, receive this work, get to learn it, get to perform it? Because in our own way, we all become these lovely custodians of the work. How is it for you? What does it mean to you?
I think it's quite a privilege. I think the last time the company performed the ballet was 20 years ago or so. So it's quite a big milestone, sort of landmark, that I feel we all take responsibility and take such care and privilege and honor being able to now perform it, and hopefully comes back into the rep again soon, or if not, then we're lucky we got to do it now.
Well, I'm going to let you get on with it. We could talk for hours, but we'll see you in action, and we have the wonderful, who's joining us on the piano? Is it Ellie?
Ellie.
Ellie, you're already there. Thank you so much. So I'll let you get on. I'm going to take your mics. Thank you. and off you go. Thank you.
Okay. Right, so I thought we're actually going to use this as an opportunity to do some notes from the stage call this morning. These wonderful dancers have already done this. Also, this is a little bit of a mix and match cast because Harrison here belongs to the other cast. But as the nature of everything in the theatre, things just change and evolve and merge and all of that. So actually we're going to start, I want to just start with your little solo. That, yes. So this is just near the entrance of the ballet, and Sophie runs out and does this little step. Yeah, going back. Now, when we were, I just put my notes, actually, I can put my notes down here. Yeah, when you come back, we're sort of feeling that so much of this is about the music, and not just dancing on the music, but being in the music. And so this sort of step, we sort of felt that ba bum ba da dum bum 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 ba ya da 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 ya da da dum. It sort of has that sort of seesaw feel of it. Of course, all of this ballet is about meetings and greetings in a park and observations that Sir Fred had in a park, and whether that's noises, that's the sort of susurration of the leaves, whether it's architecture, structure, the gates, all sorts of things sort of thread their way all the way through the ballet. So we were just trying to find moments. So that was much better. Could you just show me again? So I was talking. And da yum bum bum ba da yum bum 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 ya dum bum bum ba da ya da da jump. Yeah, when you bring your arm over, can you just be careful that you don't crowd it and that we don't lose that sculpture? Da da yum bum 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 ba ya da da jump. Yeah, and when you come back out of here, can you just make sure that you actually go from this direction to this direction? Da yum bum bum ba da, yeah, bum 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 ba ya ba 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 da. That's lovely. Da da yum. Then watch your side on, da yum. Da da yum bum 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 ba ba ba. Gorgeous. Can we do it with the music, please, Sophie? Have you got where? Just a little bit of a lead in. 9 in, please, Sophie. Lovely, yeah, lovely. Thank you. That was beautiful. Just can you just watch that? You give me a proper ci-son ferme, yes. That we actually see that ci-son ferme, and yeah. So even lower, dia-dum, even lower. Once it gets too high, then you're da-yum, and remember that it's all about that downbeat. Yum, bum, dum, yum, bum. Bum, yeah, da jump, and then just watch that last little kick up, just a little bit too high. Da 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 dum bum 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 ba. Yes, absolutely, yes. This was gorgeous going off. We sort of thought that this was a little bit like a child playing with a hoop going off. Don't know, maybe not, but it was just yeah da 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 dum ba ba da 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 da. Exactly, yeah. Keeping that shape, yeah, but it was really good. Yeah, of the 5th position. Good, excellent. And deep breath. Okay, onwards. So there was a note actually that when you do the ya-da-dum bum bum ba-da-da-da-da, keep the head under your arm. Yeah. Also, very slightly, not to make it sort of jerky, but is there any way that you could be slightly sharper with it? Not too much. Yeah. So I'm just going to ask them to do this first sort of wheel, and then we're going to stop because they've been round and round the stage about 5 times already today. Ready? And. And stopping now, yeah. I just thought I'd give you a break. Just be really careful that you don't veer out on that, yeah, as you come round. That was better, actually. It just looked a little bit more. That was really nice. There was nothing much on this. This had a really nice feeling. Actually, on Chicat, can you make sure that you really use your épaulement? Yes, so yes, it really needs to go yum and tu, or whatever it is, and change, yeah? And yum ba ba and jump. Yes, exactly. Da dum ba ya da dum bum ba yum bum bum bum. So we had a real coming up after this. There was in this dance in 1956. Merle Park did not do a kiss on ya da dum bum bum ya da 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 dum yum bum bum. So we didn't do the kiss. Then as you sort of look at it, after that, it did go in. So this was sort of this little bit now. Could you just demonstrate it, actually? Could we do it with the music? Can you do without a kiss, please? Yes. Ready? So just a little bit in, Ellie. Yes. 8 in, please. Oh no, sorry, Ellie, that we're just going to go yada dum bum bum da 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 jump bum bum bum. Yeah. 8. Yes, perfect. Thank you. Okay, good, yeah. Thank you. So that was without the kiss, obviously, and that's what happened in 1956. And it's not that we're copying everything that happened then, it's just sort of taking on moments. I mean, just for a moment while you catch your breath, there's another moment in the adage with the principal couple where they do a penché, and it had turned into like a soutenu down and be taken off. And in 56, Nadia Norina sort of turned into her and just sort of got wrapped up and floated off. And that felt more Fred than the soutenu, the lower, and the walk off. So that sort of thing went back in, because I think it sort of felt like he was almost putting his coat around her shoulders because she was cold. And so it's that kind of stuff that we've tried to sort of inject back in. Anyway, back to this. So we did this, and then there were a few sort of, oh, do you think the kiss should go back in? Do you think, whatever. So we decided that actually mistakenly in the rehearsal, I said, okay, let's just see what it looks like. Don't do it the first time. And then when you've done all this again from like a million years, then we'll put it back in. So when you're really exhausted, put the kiss back in. So now do it with the kiss for me, please. Can we do the same thing again, please? Yes, so can we go to the second part? Actually, why don't we go from the repeat? Can we do that? Do you mind? Okay, so I'm going to make them do the whole thing from the repeat. So the whole of the repeat after the 8 into, yes, please. And. Lift the leg too high, Liam. Keep down and down and down, down. Here we go. very, very good. It's really good. Sorry, that was mean. Just, when you're doing yum ba ba da ya and you feel dead, can we just have a little bit more epaulement? Yeah, just because actually, if you give all of that, we won't notice the dead sort of bit. And I would just say, just be careful again that one arm just creeps up on those on chakat. Yeah. Yeah, don't get that leg too high, otherwise you lose the da ba da yum bum bum even more. Keeping it low. Da 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 yum bum ba da yeah. That's it. Da 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 yum bum bum. Yeah, exactly. Note-wise. Oh, I know what I meant to say. You know when you bourrée into the centre, yadadum bum bum bum. Can you be a bit more sort of gentle about putting your arms around her and yeah, when you bourrée in, a tiny bit more gentle. And that's it. Yeah, otherwise it looks... And actually, you know, the jump back, that had a correction, but actually it was much better just then. Yeah, just sort of yum, but yeah, don't overdo it. It's not a huge thing. Just a yum, ba-da, yum, bum, bum, ba. Yeah, good. That's good. I'm done. You don't need to do any more. Thank you, really good, really good.
Vanessa, thank you. Thank you so much, that was gorgeous. Thank you, what a treat to see that. Thank you, everyone. Right, and up next is another rehearsal, but this time from Sarasota Ballet. So please welcome dancers Jessica Assef, Ricardo Rhodes, and Daniel Pratt. Welcome, it's so nice to have you here. What does it mean to you to kind of be over in London here, showing Ashton, showing the rep that you perform?
For me, it's a really special moment that I'll remember forever. I'm really happy to be here, and I hope I can enjoy as much as possible.
Yeah, we hope so too. As I say, it's great to have you here. What are you going to be showing in the rehearsal next? Which ballet are you giving us a little glimpse of this evening?
So we'll be doing an excerpt from Valses Nobles and Sentimental. I hope I said it right in the French. And it's a very atmospheric ballet, set in a ballroom. Meetings and partings, we're not quite sure how these people relate to one another. This particular bit is a pas de trois, so you have the ballerina, and we're sort of her suitors. She hasn't quite decided who she'd like to go with, okay. In a way. Yeah, it's full of sort of longing looks and lots of lovely port de bras. Yeah.
Lovely. And is this something that you have in your repertoire already? Have you performed this before? Is this new to this program? Okay.
Several times, yeah.
All right.
But it's a good one to perform.
Okay, good. Well, we can't wait. Let me take the mics off you because we want to see as much dancing from you as possible. And please welcome Margaret Barbieri, who's going to be coaching you in this. Join us. Thank you.
So, Daniel Pratt, you just told everything I was going to say.
It's good I remembered.
It is good. I've coached you well then, did I? So, no, I think it is important. Actually, Jessica hasn't done it before. She joined us this year, and she's very beautiful in it, I think. But what I want to say is that, yes, it's set in a ballroom. And just a bit of back history is that I was once taken to this cafe come ballroom off Regent Street, and I always think of it when I'm staging it because there were these potted huge ferns, and it was very atmospheric. And there were people that came and with their friends, and you know there was a lady who was being obviously followed by a few men, and that happens in the ballet. There's 4 couples who come in, and all the men vie for, go after her. But the leading man just goes, no, she's mine. And that's the opening. And it goes into this pas de trois, which we're going to do now, where, as Daniel said, she hasn't quite decided who she wants to choose. Later in the ballet, it's followed by 2 pas de deux. So you kind of think, well, okay, she's made her decision, but at the end of the ballet, back he comes. So she hasn't quite decided. But the ballet is very beautiful. It's the music, Ravel, Sophie Fedorovich's designs, Ashton's glorious choreography, so musical. I think the dancers love doing it. And there's a few tricky things, but on the whole, it's one of those ballets that's very organic, and the dancers feel it's seamless. And I think the story is seamless too. But I don't want to talk too much. So, as we have rehearsed this quite a lot also, I think we're going to run the pas de trois. It's very short, and then we'll do some coaching on that. But I thought it would be good to see the little solo that comes in the next section, because it's very Ashtonian, with glorious port-de-bras, épaulement, quick little footwork, and I think that would be nice to sort of do. And I didn't finish my coaching on that today. Yes, all right. Okay, so let's do it. Let's go from the beginning. So in the beginning, to set the stage, as I said, there's these potted ferns, and there's huge screen back there, and a screen on each side of the stage. And the dancers kind of waft in, and she is searching for them, and they may be searching for them, for her. I need more water. Okay. Very good, very good. Just a few little details, yes. Still, watch out, we've talked about this before, but when you see Ricky and then you turn to Daniel, don't step too far into him, because you're covering him up. So, because there's a lovely moment when you can be almost on his shoulder before you do the développé. Yeah, just try coming into him and step into him, but don't be too far. Yes, and then over, and then lean over there. Yes, it doesn't have to be too high. There. Okay, that's good. All right. And here, yes, this is very much more to each other. So I know you've got an audience really close now, but it's not to them. Yeah, you're doing your attitude there, and then it carries it around, so you don't feel like you're doing it more from one to the other. Anyway, then you do your promenade round and the balance and all of this. You could have just a little bit more cambre, yes, there, into that, and it falls into that. And then, Ricky, don't let it be too long, this jeté lift, yeah? Because otherwise it gets off the music also. And we want to see that position coming out of it, and then into Daniel. And extend, let's see that line. Show me the position, yes. And out there, good. And now the do-si-do around. It is quite, yes, he pushes you a little bit away, and you're still there to each other, yes? To each one of them, yes. Then this beautiful port de bras and over. Okay, now, next thing, going into we have, yes. So, no. So you're going into the fouette and not going devant and into your fouette, yeah? You're swimming around, yes? Without making it sharp. I want to see devant, I want to see, and then it doesn't have to go too high. I want to see a good line at the end, yeah? And show devant up and over there. That's enough. Good. And then you come up and you look at him. Yes, you're giving him a maybe, yes. Now we'll try you. And up, and now you see it's much more square. That's it. And it can have a little bit of time to get to there. It doesn't have to go zoom. Yeah? Good, yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm still getting over jet lag and dry mouth. I have to get some water. So we've done that, and then we do the bourrée back, and we have the développé again, and that's promenade. Same thing. So now, go into the next section. This could be more beautiful. Yeah, and go. And, yeah, I don't want to see, like, literally, it's not touching hands. It's more delicate, yeah. And you're looking, yes, you can't really see him, but you could maybe lean a little more. Yeah, so yes, there. And then you go and side to side, that's it. More fondue, a little more fondue, that's it. Go to Daniel now, and there, and there. That's good. And then this is good. I wouldn't get too high a leg on this jeté. Yes, and around. Okay, right. And then the other thing I was going to say is on the développés, that it doesn't go too, it wants to have a little more quality from the three of you there. And then you're going to have, and you go there, da-da-dum, and let me see you giving the hand. So just do the whole thing there. And you go, and step, développé, and step up, hand, there. And up, hand, look, that's it. Then this is my favorite moment. This shoulder, show your shoulder blades, yes, and take your time doing that. And then the other side, yes. And third one, quick, and around. And this glorious position for the woman, I think is so beautiful. Let's just have a look. I think we should be a little bit more open that way. So you still have the hand there, but a little bit more open. That's it. That's beautiful, yes? And the men too. They're beautiful as well, aren't they? All right, very good. Okay, well, I know my time is short, so I'm going to go on to the solos, and I know you can, good to get a rest. Are you all right to go on, Jessica? Yes? Okay. So what happens now, they disappear, and she goes up to the screen at the back for about 7/6, and then she comes forward to do the solo. All right. So what I wanted to say was we have to get the nice, quick little bourrée, and then the timing of the da-da-da-da-da down, and up and a bourrée. Da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. And yes, now don't flick these arms, yeah? Present them out and breathe. Breathe with the arms. That's it. Good. And then you're going to go, there, we've done that. Now, the Fred step. Yes. And beautiful articulation. Much more body, yes. I want to see it really over that way, and then you can turn. That's maybe too much. I'm overdoing it. And then you should have more body there as well. And then you go arabesque. It's just a little bit more. You're making it a little bit too diagonal, I think. Make it a little bit less, yeah? So as we can see the line. And arabesque, and then coupé double, soft plié, pas de chat, and around. That's it. Now, the next thing, yes, that's better. That's better, Jessica. Now, again, this is from, you've got to much more. There's time. Yes, it's not just a through and a through. Yeah? Show us your shoulder blades. Use the epaulement, use the head. And chassé, you turn your head away towards, no, time it so that it goes away towards. Yeah, so it goes together. Head is away and towards, then you step, and you're going again, passé through, show that. Now this is the beautiful moment again. Let's see it, yes? Down your face, that's it, and then chassé, and then the soutenu up, and we go again. And chassé, step away and towards, and there, and over. Yes, don't forget this arm. It must have some life. So you're there, and this one, it's not in a position, it's just got life in it. Yeah? So it's there, and then, yes, and then you go and step beautiful passé through. Beautiful passé through, that's it. And soutenu up, and then you waft up to the back before you go and shoot off, looking for those men again, probably. Yes. So shall we do that with the music? You all right to do it? They've been working very hard, so don't want to push them too much. Oh, no. Okay, sorry. Oh, you're doing it from there. Just stay up there. You be up there, yeah. Just wait for it when you have to come up, down. Are you starting from the whole track? Huh?
Oh, the whole track?
Are you doing the whole track?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the whole track. So the beginning, you've got all the sixes, yeah? Don't run. Softer plié. Okay, good. And off she goes. Very good. Very good. So I think the only correction I would give you there is you can do a softer pliés all on the Fred step. Yes. And on the soutenu, don't rush it. Just take your time to take the arms up, yes, and open them. Yes, that's it. Beautiful. All right, so I think that's right. You're all right.
You
to join me over by the piano over this side? Oh,
I didn't think
Margaret's just thanking the dancers. We'll wait a moment. Margaret, could I ask you to join us over here at the piano? That was amazing. It's lovely to get a glimpse of that. We can't wait to see it on the stage. Kind of when you pass the Ashton rep on to your dancers, what do you feel that they gain from the work?
Well, I think, you know, I feel it's wonderful for them to dance the Ashton ballets. I felt we learned so much from them. Sorry, I'm knocking the speaker. You know, they all love it too. And over the years, they sometimes ask for things to come back. But this is a beautiful, I mean, there's so many beautiful Ashton ballets. I've always felt it quite an honour to be able to stage his ballets. Most of them I danced, not all of them, but most of them I had danced and worked with Sir Fred on them. But even, you know, the ones that I wasn't involved with, I just love staging, and I love passing it on to the dancers, because that's what I think it's all about. When I was a young dancer in the company, I was fortunate to have people like Doreen Wells, Betty Anderton, Shirley Graham, Lucette Alders, so many amazing dancers in our touring company. And then, you know, when I was also working with the main company, Antoinette and Mel, Svetlana, Margot, just how lucky. I've always thought how incredible it was to be dancing and having all those incredible dancers to look up to learn from. And they were always so incredibly helpful. And that's something that I feel and Ian, we both feel this, that we'd like to pass on to our dancers. And they do. The more experienced, older, not older in terms of old, but just their more experienced principals and dancers, they're so helpful with the younger dancers. And I think that's a wonderful tradition to pass on.
Yeah, that's what it's all about,
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Being part
Yes,
of a company and nurturing
because that's what we had, and we want them to have the same.
Yeah. Well, it's lovely talking to you. We're going to continue our discussion. We're going to be joined by Ian and Kevin again, and we have Janetta Lawrence joining us, who's the chair of the Ashton Foundation. So if you could join us back at the chairs, and we'll welcome everybody back. Do you want some more water? Yes.
I'm just trying to get the water. Is that mine or yours? Where do you want us to sit?
Yeah, I think you can come and sit. Yes, come and sit here. Ian, are you over this side? Janetta, so lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. Could you talk a little about the Ashton Foundation, its work, I guess its hopes?
Well, yes, I certainly can. The Ashton Foundation really exists to perpetuate his choreographic legacy, which is a very large one indeed. And it's really, we have to preserve these wonderful works for the future and future audiences, for, you know, as long as we possibly can. So a lot of it's been talked about already. I mean, one of the major things that we do is to try to find the next generation of repetitors. And it's terribly important to do that, because there aren't so many of them around in the world, and there are a lot of companies who dance Ashton, and hopefully over the next 5 years during the festival there'll be a lot more who want to dance Ashton too. And so it's really important, and we've devised a shadowing scheme for people that we can find, but actually identifying those people, because they're so special. You know, they have, like as we've seen with Margaret and with Vanessa this evening, it's, you know, it takes an enormous amount. You have to be so confident in what you're doing. You have to know exactly what everybody in the whole ballet is doing. I mean, it can be a pas de deux, anything from a solo to a pas de deux to a 3-act ballet like Sylvia, for instance, which has got an enormous cast, and you have to know absolutely every single detail about it, not just about the dancing, but about the setting of it, the staging of it, the music of it, the costumes of it, the hairstyles of it. It's an enormous thing to do. And in order to keep everything as much as possible, it's really important to try to find a way of teaching these people who are still, very, very young and in what they're doing, and just hopefully trying to get them to understand, and from the people that are still with us, who can pass on their knowledge to this next generation. So, that's one of our major activities. It's not just, though, about finding repetiteurs. It's about finding ways of, thinking about the audiences of the future and finding new ways of interesting them. We've got a wonderful program at the moment, which we're doing with the Royal Ballet School, and it's for young people from the ages of around 11 to 17. And the Royal Ballet School asked us if they might be able to use some of Ashton's repertoire. And we were absolutely delighted at the thought. It's for vocational and non-vocational students. And so they're learning little extracts of 3 ballets, Les Patineurs, Les Rendez-vous, and The Dream. And it's so really important that, to get the theatricality and to get the stories, because that's what Fred was all about, really. And, his ability to distill an idea or a mood even, and to really get young people to not just think about learning the technique. Of course, technique is everything, but it's also to get them to be aware of telling the story and being able to live in the moment. And that's, I think, for me, quite a lot of what Ashton is really, to let, I think something that Fred said was, you don't let your technique mask your emotions. You have to live in the moment. You have to have the technique, but you have to be able to understand the theatricality of his work. And I saw 3 very young people yesterday who had learnt simplified variations. There are 3 stages, really, of simplification of the choreography. And to watch them at such a young age, absolutely living in the moment, was terribly exciting.
Yeah, we obviously we talk about the technique of ballet transforming with different rep that we do, but when you watch Ashton's work, I mean, the both things that we've seen tonight, it's still so challenging.
It really
now,
is.
And you just think what it gives dancers to
Yeah.
go on to perform other rep.
It's interesting because dancers of today have such tremendous techniques. They really do. The things that they can do are extraordinary. But I think for Ashton, probably it was not how many pirouettes you could do, but how you did the pirouettes. So it could be a very slow adagio turn, or it could be a very quick double because of someone's frustrated, or so it's all about the storytelling.
And where are we in terms of with Ashton's work? Like, how much of it do we have to be able to teach? How much is kind of notated there already? Because I mean, it's fascinating for me because I feel so connected with him as our founder choreographer here, but seeing work that we haven't, or I haven't certainly seen here, hasn't been done, is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is notated. I mean, probably the majority, isn't it? I would say. But there are pieces that we've found that haven't been danced for a long time, like the Hamlet and Ophelia, which was only ever seen once in this country, and it went on tour, I think, didn't it, for the next sort of couple of years. But so it's fascinating to kind of dig up these things and get them back again. And we've got a couple more that we've, got to do. But no, I think it's, most of it's there, but it's just finding a way of, it's got to stay relevant, and it's got to be relevant for the audiences of tomorrow. And it will, because it's so beautifully crafted that it will. So we just really, really have to look after it.
And Kevin, it's so wonderful because you feel immediately connected to Sarasota Ballet, performing Ashton's rep in doing that. So it feels like what we can do when one choreographer's repertoire goes around the world.
Yeah.
It's a special thing.
It's brilliant,
isn't it?
And you know, with Ian and Margaret doing so much of Sir Fred's work, and you know, we've constantly kept in touch, and we've helped with some of the production side of it, and also fairly recently you helped us with the production side when I wanted to do apparitions in the Fontaine Gala. So we're constantly helping each other to either revive or help get these ballets on, which is really important as well. And that, and also with Birmingham Royal Ballet, it's really important, you know. And I think it's really interesting to see these works that maybe we did in the old Sadler's Wells Royal Ballet that haven't been seen for a long time. So to see those works, and I think in the intimate setting of the Limbury as well is really special, because I think that's how some of those ballets were originally created, you know, in those smaller theatres. And so that will be, I can't wait to see them there.
Yeah, well, along those lines, like talking about your personal experiences with Ashton, can you kind of reflect on any moments or things that stay with you?
Well, I think it's basically difficult for me really, because I lived in the amphitheatre here, so that's where I learned everything. And I'm not 100% sure whether I actually prefer being there and just watching and falling in love with his ballets, or dancing them. I was very fortunate to dance quite a few of them and work with him. And the thing of being with him, he was so wonderful. He was so gentle. He was kind. He was very naughty. He made me laugh all the time. He teased me all the time. I think because I used to go bright red, which I'm probably red now. He used to tease me things. So, but it was so at ease. There was you were never scared that, oh God, Sir Fred's there, or you know, he was just so gentle and wonderful. So I'm obsessed with him. I just loved him, loved everything about his whole legacy, and it's so important. So that's why I have this. And I'm very fortunate in Sarasota that I have an amazing team. I have, you know, with Margaret, who's just so generous with everything she gives. I've got Joseph Opie, who was, you know, in the audience now, who was the great managing director of the Met, who basically goes, if you want to do it, Ian, okay, I'm going to get those people to make sure, and our donors now understand. You know, and we've got things like, there's a lady in California who I've never met, and every so often she just sends a little check, not for very much, but sends a little, and says, put that towards an Ashton costume.
Right.
And things like this. So there's so many people that are invested now in what we're trying to do, but it's because of him.
But speaking about him in the studio, what was there something that, how did he bring things out of people? What was he great at giving people an image? Was it a demonstration? Was it just an idea, a thought?
Well, you should say.
Yeah, I mean, he had an extraordinary way of pulling it out of you, I felt. Very in a gentle way. He could help you with a technical thing if there was any problem, with an interpretation of the role. And sometimes it might be, oh, I think you've got to have different shoes. It could be something like that. But, I mean, all his ballets were so musical that it was wonderful to dance them, and you always felt like you were expressing the music. But working with him, you got so much more out of it, and he did too. And he did change a few little things for people. But he made it kind of special for you, you know. So no, I would have loved to have danced more of his ballets. Even I danced a lot. Yeah. I didn't have anything created on me except for Sinfonietta when I was in the Corps de Ballet, and I was one of the 6 couples, and I can tell you I was terrified because it was fast and fiendish, and the counts were tricky. And I know when Ian wanted to bring it back, I went, really? Because I did have these memories of being so nervous about it. But I think, you know, our dancers don't seem to have that problem. They seem to be fine. I think they really enjoy his ballets, and I hope that we are able to pass on to them our love of his ballets and of him. You know.
I think it's important because also with Sir Fred, is when when you would do Fee or something like this, you were the person. It was very natural. You weren't sort of like, so when it was easier to dance. Mm-hmm. I felt I hated things like the Princess Swan Lake. It was like, but with things like it was just, you were just yourself.
Right.
And I loved the way that, I don't know whether you can say these days, you've got to be careful, but he just made the women look so beautiful. He was just, I mean, it was like all this beautiful neckline. And now you get these days where the neckline's only for Dracula, and and he was all these beautiful, beautiful women, and it was just gorgeous, and it was like, so everything about him, it was that sort of whole era.
Yeah. Kevin, you mentioned obviously it being the Limbury stage being lovely because Ashton's work was performed, I guess, for different venues, different sizes, and the kind of, I guess, what he covered within the rep is so vast, from his narrative work to the abstract. There's so much in there.
Yeah, it is incredible going from studio, which I've been doing the last few days. Everybody's doing the work, and then I come in to have a look, and the joy of that is to see the differences in the work. So to see, as I said earlier, with The Dream, how he tells that story. I mean, it is absolutely brilliant, and how people can take on those characters. But then when you think about something like Dante's Sonata, which you wouldn't believe probably if you were shown it blind that it was him, maybe. But there's things that you would get, but it's really chalk and cheese, and that's why I love putting his work together in a program. I really enjoy that because you can do that, because you won't be sitting there thinking, oh gosh, this is all the same, and that's why we've supersized it with bringing Sarasota here as well. So we've got so many versions of Sir Fred's work, which is really extraordinary.
Yeah, because obviously that was an important factor, was it? Because you're showing in this kind of feels like a festival. Yeah. So much.
Yeah.
That was part of the programming, and was it a dialogue with the foundation?
It all sort of happened together, didn't it? Ian and I were talking. I don't know why we were talking on the phone, and then the idea about coming over here, and then just, do you think we could make it work? And then sort of in tandem, the foundation were thinking about how we can go and make a sort of an international festival out of his work, and really get more people, dancing those works. So the two, we were doing that, and we both all talked together and go, actually, this will work.
It was quite amazing because in 2014, I did an Ashton festival, and it's sort of like, and I kept thinking about it, and I sort of was thinking, well, maybe, and I said to Kevin, so how would it be possible to bring some of your company over if we were to do something else again? And it would, so it all flipped around now. He brought us in. It was perfect. And again, it's just that whole gift that, for the dancers, and I say it's for Margaret to come back here, and with all the work she's given, to then pay tribute to somebody who we loved. But that's how it was, just sort of like, so for me it worked out perfect.
And so there's a celebration that runs, is it the 2024 to 28? Could you tell us a little bit more about that, Jeanette?
The dates really are just based very loosely on the year of his birth, which was 1904, and the year of his death, which was 1988. So that's just a very loose way of looking at it. It's actually a 5-year festival, and as I said earlier, it's just really to encourage more companies to dance more of his work. I mean, obviously there are lots and lots of companies out there all over the world that dance Ashton, and equally there are quite a few who don't. So we just hope that it will, it will kick off and take off. Already, I think we've got about 25 companies who are keen to program. I mean, the first couple of years will be a bit slow because, as you know, companies usually program 2-3 years ahead. So, but I'm hoping that sort of as we go through, it will hot up, and there'll be lots more Ashton to be seen.
He had so many influences, and I feel like, his choreography spanned lots of territory, it feels, in his early days when he made. What do you feel like he he gave to ballet, or well, I feel like it's so much that he showed what ballet could be for an audience, for the stage, through all those.
Well, you know, I don't know. I think that big companies, great companies, have they all have a sort of unique personality in a way. And you know, if you look around the world, I mean, Petipa was in Russia, Bournonville, Denmark, you know, and Balanchine in America. And for us, it was Sir Fred and Kenneth, who really gave the company its identity, you know, as great storytellers. But also, again, it's back to this distilling the essence, you know, of whatever, be it the essence of a story or a mood or just a feeling that draws audiences in. And I think that you just understand from them that they are very, you know, they were two giants of the 20th century choreography. And so I think for us, there's a massive, massive range. I mean, when you look at Ashton's work in particular, again, as we've already said, the variety of it. And there's one that we're in the process of bringing back, which I know, Ian, you've looked at too, which is Lament of the Waves, which is and I think it probably would be the most un-Ashton work that you could ever imagine. I mean, there's a lot of rolling on the floor, for one thing. It's an incredibly difficult score, French composer Gérard Masson. And it was done in 71 for two young dancers. He wanted, it's called Lament of the Waves, and it's the name of the music. And he deliberately didn't want Anthony and Antoinette to do it because it would just be all about two stars by that time. He wanted two complete unknowns in the company, Karl Myers and Marnie. And it really is, it's very difficult. We've got the film of it on the Opera House stage. It was a rehearsal film. And at the moment, Samara Downs, who's a principal dancer with Birmingham Royal Ballet, who has qualified amazingly as a full notator, so she reads and writes. And she is bringing it back. The music's so difficult that I think we'll probably have to go with a two-piano score because it's a big orchestration, but I think it'll work. And so hopefully that will be something during the festival.
So also, can I ask, so, because when I was looking into it, is it where the musicians themselves would suddenly say random words? No. Did you hear that? So that because as you're drowning, you hear different things. And somebody, I can't remember who told me, said that these suddenly voices came. So when we were looking at a recording of it, but it was too bad to use. Yeah. I was wondering how would you enter that? But maybe that isn't true then.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, it would be so expensive. I mean, there isn't really a recording that we can find of it because there's 1 and 2, and this one is 2, and we can only find 1. So I think it will be done to a two-piano score, and I think it'll work.
Great.
Yeah. So I think we'll get it back, which is really exciting.
Yeah. Right. We're running out of time. We've got 2 seconds, but I'm noticing these gorgeous costumes here, and you touched on it briefly, Kevin, about Rendezvous being redesigned. Could you tell us a little bit about?
Yes, it's sort of interesting when you go back into the history books and look at the different designs, and Rendezvous had quite a lot of different designs. And I remember, the one I remember, I actually didn't dance in it, was just before I joined the company, but was based on the William Chappell version. And
I danced in that one.
You danced in that one. And then there was another version that was done here at the Royal Ballet about 20 years ago. And so I wanted to go back to sort of that William Chappell version, and then looked at it and then thought maybe we should have a fresh look at it, but take that as the basis. And so Jasper Conran, who's worked with us quite a lot over the years. He did ballets with David Bintley, Tombo and Edward II, ballets that I was in, and then also more recently redesigned with great success Christopher Wheeldon's Within the Golden Hour. And so he's a great man to work with a brief. He does actually work to a brief. And so we wanted some to get the essence of the original, but making it fresh. And so in Jasper's eyes, there's been a ball. People happen to meet in the park. The dawn is coming up, and beautifully elegant. We've kept the same sort of framework of the park gates, and then actually the view into the distance is actually taken from Jasper's house, actually, and so they've painted it beautifully. And we had a first rehearsal today, didn't we? And we're really hoping it's going to look absolutely right for this ballet. And as you say, the costumes, the men look sort of Mr. Darcy-like, and the women are
very gorgeous,
very beautiful in their gowns. And of course, today you can make them with beautiful materials, but that are light as well. So I think they're all enjoying work.
The girls are all mad about them. Their dresses.
So so looking forward to that. So I think it's interesting. We did it when Janetta was working with me as associate director. We went back to the original. A version of the original of Rhapsody, which had 3, I think, designs before, and I think you've now done it in Sarasota with our new old designs. And I think it's always worth looking. Some really don't need any. You'd never think of looking at A Month in the Country, for instance. You know, it's so beautiful and so perfect. But sometimes, maybe more with the abstract ballets, it might be worth a look to see for today's eyes, just to give it that fresh look. But then we went sort of backwards with Rhapsody, but I think it works well. And of course, that is very lovely because he actually Sir Fred designed the back arches for that, didn't he? So it's very nice to have a bit of him on the stage as well.
It's fascinating. We could talk all night, but I hope you've enjoyed that little discussion. I certainly have, and learnt so much. And thank you for being here with us. But that's all we've got time for. But you can see the mixed programme on the main stage at the Opera House from the 6th of June, and you can watch Sarasota Ballet on stage in the Limbury Theatre from the 4th to the 9th of June. And if you go on the website, all the information is there. But that's it for this evening. Thank you to our guests, to the amazing dancers, to Ellie, who played beautifully for us. But from me tonight, thank you very much for coming, and good night.